My wife and her best friend accused me of having an affair, and then got angry when I hadn't. My wife and I had a baby last December, which was a traumatic birth, and my wife developed postpartum depression as a result. She was originally planning to go back to work after the birth, but due to the circumstances, we decided to wait until our daughter turned 1 to reassess. She has been in weekly therapy. Because my wife is a stay-at-home mom, I had to increase my work hours. This was something we discussed before making the decision, and she knew this from the start. A few weeks ago, my boss approached me about a project that would require a significant amount of overtime for a short period. This would be very beneficial for my finances and career. I spoke with my wife about it, and she agreed that I should take it. For the 4 weeks I was working the extra hours, my mother-in-law and her best friend, Jessie, 29F, name changed, would come over to help with some of the things I would normally do. Jessie is a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids of her own, ages 4 and 2. She started coming over during the day to help my wife with the baby. During the 3rd week of the project, we found out it would take a few more weeks to complete. I spoke with my wife about it when I got home that night, and she said she was fine with it, but became very distant over the next few days. This has been common behavior over the past few months, so I didn't think too much of it and tried not to take it personally. During the last week of the project, I came home one night and Jessie was still there. I didn't think anything of it, said hello to her and my wife, and went to check on my daughter. Before I got to her room, I overheard Jessie say something along the lines of, "He didn't even stop to say hi to you, that's definitely a sign." I turned around and asked what that was a sign of. My wife immediately started crying, and Jessie began accusing me of having an affair. She told me I must hate my wife because she has postpartum depression, and because she gained weight after the pregnancy, I'm no longer attracted to her. None of this is true. I'm doing everything I can to help my wife through her postpartum depression while also supporting our family, and I think she looks amazing. It's just that she hasn't been interested in sex, and I haven't pushed her. Jessie then demanded to see my phone. I refused. She said that was a sign of guilt. I told my wife she could look at it if she wanted. She nodded, and something inside me broke. I think it was the fact that she even entertained the idea that I was having an affair that really hit me, and that after everything she's been through, she didn't trust me. She checked my phone, and there was nothing there. Jessie started saying I deleted the evidence. She started yelling, which woke up our daughter, so I told her to leave my house. She eventually left, and I went to comfort my daughter while my wife continued to cry on the couch. After my daughter was back asleep, I sat with my wife and tried to talk about what happened. She told me she had been worried ever since I started working the extra hours. I reminded her that we had discussed what a great opportunity this was, and she agreed I should take the project. She said the extension of the project was suspicious. I told her that sometimes these things happen. She wanted more proof, so I showed her work messages and emails with timestamps, as well as pay stubs showing the overtime. She said she believed me and apologized for doubting me. It was just that Jessie kept telling her these were all signs that I was cheating. I asked her why she trusted Jessie more than me, and why she didn't just come to me with her concerns. She didn't really have an answer. A few weeks have passed, and the project is over. I've actually cut back my hours and am trying to work even less than I was before the project started so I can spend more time with my wife and daughter. But I'm so exhausted from trying to do everything and have become resentful because deep down I know my wife doesn't trust me. I keep asking myself, what's going to happen the next time I have a project, or if I have to run errands one day, or if I need to travel for work? Am I going to face accusations of cheating every time I come back? I've tried to bring this up a few times, but my wife always says it's not the right time, or that she's tired or upset. I try to be understanding of her feelings, but I'm wondering if that means I'm never allowed to have my own. I don't know what to do. That night, I approached my wife and told her I was going to look for a therapist. I didn't tie it to her accusations or anything else, just that I've been having a hard time lately and need to seek help. She shrugged and told me to do whatever. The next day I came home from work to find our bedroom and my home office completely ransacked, with things thrown everywhere and important documents scattered all over. I didn't see her, but our daughter was in her room crying. My wife had left her alone there, and her phone was off. I called my in-laws and a few friends, but no one had seen her. I started to panic and called my mom to see if she could come over and watch the baby while I went to look for her. Before my mom got there, my wife came back, with Jessie dropping her off. Jessie didn't come inside and hasn't been back since I told her to leave, as she is upset with me about my behavior, but my wife came in. She was clearly distressed and had been crying. I asked what happened. I initially thought we might have been robbed. She started yelling at me about being unfaithful and that me seeing a therapist was to meet with my mistress. I tried to calm her down and tell her that wasn't true, but she lunged at me and hit me. She broke my nose. She seemed to realize what she had done and then just sat on the couch staring blankly at the wall. I went into my daughter's room, locked the door, and called my mom to tell her what happened. She was already on her way, and I also called my mother-in-law to come over to be with my wife. I packed a bag for my daughter, and when my mom arrived, we left. My wife didn't even look up at us. We took our daughter to my dad's house and then went to the ER to get my nose treated. My mom's new Subaru got blood all over it. My daughter and I are temporarily staying at my parents' house, and my wife is staying with her parents. I'm looking into getting a restraining order against Jessie. My wife and I are separated. I love her, but I won't live with someone who would hurt me, and potentially hurt our daughter. I'm not planning on getting a divorce at this time, and I'm hoping my wife gets the help she needs and we can work through this. My in-laws have told me they are considering having her admitted to a local hospital, but I also have detailed records of everything in case it comes down to a custody battle. My heart is broken because I know this isn't my wife, it's an illness in her mind, but I need to protect myself and our daughter and give her space to get better. I hope this is the right decision. Should I let the woman who effectively killed my wife speak at her funeral? A woman spread lies to my wife, who suffered from postpartum depression, leading to her mental breakdown and subsequent death. She now wants to speak at my wife's funeral. Refusing her will cause trouble, and I'm not sure if it's worth it. There's more background to this situation in my post history. My wife passed away early Monday morning. She had been convinced by her friend, Jessie, that I was having an affair, which I was not. She had a mental breakdown, which led to me taking our young daughter and temporarily staying at my parents' house. She was with her parents, who were planning to take her to a hospital for inpatient treatment on Monday. On Sunday night, she came to my parents' house demanding I give her our daughter back, given the fact she had left her alone for hours the last time she was responsible for her care, and had physically assaulted me. I refused. I offered to let her come inside and spend time with her, with me and my parents present, but she didn't want to come in and just wanted to take our daughter. She was distraught but left. A few hours later, she crashed her parents' car into a tree and passed away. The friend, Jessie, came to see me and my daughter yesterday. After some tears, she told me she was planning on speaking at my wife's funeral. She had already spoken to my in-laws, and was just telling me out of courtesy. I told her she would not be speaking at the funeral. We got into an argument, and she left, calling me an asshole and saying I wasn't the only one who loved my wife. I spoke with my in-laws, and they are adamant that Jessie be allowed to speak. She has known my wife since they were children, and my in-laws are very close to her as well. We are all very vulnerable right now, and I'm worried that pushing this further will damage my relationship with my in-laws, which is something I don't want. However, the thought of seeing Jessie at my wife's funeral makes me feel sick. I can't bear the thought of hearing her speak, knowing that she was instrumental in my wife's mental decline and even condoned her leaving our daughter home alone. That being said, I don't trust myself to make the best decision right now. My mind is clouded with grief, guilt, and fear. My parents are divided on what I should do, and I don't have the energy to reach out to my friends, so I'm coming here again for your advice.